Hi, Mohammed Ruhul. This is Caleb, Business Development Manager at RegPack. Wanted to provide some feedback and additional guidance in terms of your list. There were some strengths in terms of the list that you gave us back. There are also a couple of things I want to point out. And in particular, I just think you could spend uh, less time worried about the quantity and bring more focus to the titles you're giving us, as well as making sure you're using the website to help you hone in on the right people. So, as an example, let's start with Camp Boggy Creek. You gave us a lot of titles. However, a lot of these are going to be very irrelevant, like totally irrelevant to what we're trying to accomplish in terms of targeting the right people. So, president and CEO at an organization specific for camps, that can be okay. However, for universities and such, just so you know, you may want to avoid that. That can be very general. However, let's start here. So the president you gave us information for is June Clark. If you actually go to the Camp Boggy Creek website, not just your data source, but to the website, you may notice, whereas we mentioned, there's often going to be a tab that's called About, like you see here, where you can go to get general information, or under that section listed like with these tabs. Under it will be leadership or the team or meet the staff, etc. This particular instance, you have to actually go and hover over the camp, and then you'll see a list of more information. Uh, so it does vary from camp to camp, but they actually have specifically a leadership and staff page. Now, coming here, one thing to keep in mind is for many different organizations, that directory or that list of people is going to be split into different sections. Sometimes there'll be one with more senior leadership or board members, in addition to the actual staff that handles the day-to-day responsibilities. With this particular one, there are several individuals listed, all of the founders and additional founders. You keep going, you see officers, you keep going, you see directors. You actually have to keep going even more. You see camp leaders, and then you get down this far, and you actually see a camp directory. So you're going to want to make sure you check all of every page you're going to. Now, you gave us the president for Camp Boggy Creek as June Clark, but that is actually outdated or inaccurate information. Because some of the other names are included, I would say some of it's ac- uh, uh, current, but June Clark is no longer the president and CEO there. And if you went to the website, you'd see that. So when you come down, you see Dan German listed as the president and CEO. Now, every staff or team or leadership page won't have this much information, but not only do they have a name, they have the title, and they have an extension along with an email. So this would have been more accurate information. So if you keep going, and I'll point out some of the titles that we didn't need, but I'll start with pointing out who we would definitely have wanted to have seen on that list. So if you scroll down, if you notice here, Arlene Castro is the camper recruitment manager. Brooke Tucker is the camper recruitment coordinator. We would have loved to have seen both of these included. Now, you did get Arlene, but if you notice, you listed her as camper recruiter. I noticed that on another list too, and that is more than likely her title in a data source, not her title from the website. So that tells me that you didn't see that information on the website. We need you, and whoever is going to be selected long term, to actually go to the website and spend time there, because you'll see that it's camper recruitment manager, and then there's also uh, Brooke Tucker, the camper recruitment coordinator. So if you keep going, another useful title would have been David Mann, who's not only the chief mission officer, but is a camp director. Has his extension to email, and then you see right under him, there's Kirsten Kara Humans, who's the assistant camp director. Those are titles we would have liked to have seen. Um, I believe you included Nick Sano, the senior program associated, so that's great. But for instance, of all these who were attached to Boggy Creek, we probably could have done without the chief marketing officer, the medical director, the facilities director. the chief development officer, the major gifts officer, the cabin counselor, the development officer, chief talent officer. Those are all individuals we would have wanted to avoid. So we don't want you to just go and find a lot of titles for the company. We want you to understand what we're looking for and find the right people. So let's go to the next one. Bright lights would be another one to take a look at. So with that, going to bright lights, here, co-founder. We could have done without the co-founder. Development specialist we could have done without. Financial specialist we could have done without. Marketing specialist we probably could have done without. If you actually go to the Bright Lights page, I'll show you exactly what I would have liked you to have done. So here's an about one. This one isn't just listed under camps. There's actually an about section. And then when you look, you see staff and board. So I would go there to get an idea for what sort of names and positions you see. And then you can always go look for additional contact information for the names of interest from this page. So the camp assistant specialist, we would have liked to have seen this person included. And it also has a number and extension. You won't always see that, but sometimes a staff page would be a great place to find a name and then go to your data source for contact information and get that contact info. Here, Christy Whitmer is one of the main people we would have liked to have seen because she's the actual registration specialist. This is definitely of interest. And I do see some of the other names you included, but the camp assistant specialist as well as the registration specialist, that would have been someone we definitely would have liked to have seen over some of the titles you chose that did not seem quite as relevant. So let me go back over. Make sure I've got just the ones you had. Bright lights. Now let me also show you where you could have gotten some more information. You don't want to just go to wherever the staff or team page is listed. You're also going to want to always visit a page for camps. Now, when you hover over camps, you don't see one that says camp specifically. So just click the tab, and this actually took me to a page. So if I go down and scroll down and look, make sure I'm looking through everything. Oh, it says something about registering to register. And here we have it. There's more information. For further assistance with camp registrations, please contact the Bright Lights Registrar at 402-420-115, extension 46. That's actually the same number for Christy. Now, they called her the camp registrar on that page, but registrar and registration specialist are similar. That's pretty much the same thing. So if you come back to this page, oh, excuse me. So if you come back to the camps page where you see it requesting more information, you would have gotten an email for Christy, which is registrations@brightlights.com or brightlights.org. So having that information along with the phone number would have been very useful. And then, of course, you can go into your data source, see if you found a mobile number or any additional contact information for those individuals. Let's go to another one I saw. You could have some improvement with. So let's take a look at what you gave us for the Jewish Community Center of Greater Baltimore. Wait, here we are. Now, if you scroll over, I know they had a lot of information on here. The Director of Parenting Services probably could have done without that one. Database Administrator probably could have done without that one. Uh, Chief Program Officer, JCAM's department could be useful. Chief Executive Officer, potentially useful. Senior Director, Information Management Systems. This person is probably more related to IT. Could be useful, but more than likely not so useful. Operations and Administrative Coordinator. That one's a solid one. But if you go to the actual website, you would probably have a more refined understanding of exactly what we're looking for. Again, it seems that when you did this, you looked at a data source and not necessarily the actual staff page. So taking a look here, meet our team, about JCamps, meet our team, and you would see Administrator and Outreach Coordinator, Isabella Herrera. That would be a good person to contact. Assistant Director of JCamps, Ali Feldman. That would be a good person to contact. Senior Director of JCamps, Brad Kirsten. That would be a good person to contact. Director Camp Kulana, Aaron Levy. That would be a good person to talk to. So you're going to want to make sure you're using the website, not just your data source, because even though it might take a little searching, you'll usually find some relevant information on the website. So then going on to another one, say for instance for Winona State. This is another example where you were very general. Excuse me. Wait for it. There we are. This is another example where you were pretty general in the information that you gathered, and it doesn't seem that you actually went to the specific site that I gave you. So you got a couple of directors, associate directors, executive assistant, office managers. These are titles that were listed, but actually none of these people were the people I was hoping you to return. Let me show you what we were looking for. If you actually go to the website that or the URL I listed for the website, what it would actually take you to, close these out, are search results for camps on that university's website. So here you can pull up summer camps, athletic camps, camps and conference services. You wouldn't know this. These are actually links included on another page, but you would want to look through all of these. This one, which has a date on it, is clearly like that's old, so I wouldn't worry about these. These are older pages. But even here, Lego Mindstorm, half day morning camp. Uh, it's a short one, but might be useful. But if you go to just this first one, summer camps page, you see Ann Durley. Uh, you may not always see this, but not only do you see her name and that she is the assistant director for summer operations and special events, that's someone we would definitely want to see for a camp, especially if it says it's summer camps. But you have a phone number here and an email address. You also then have Adria Tim, a conferencing assistant, along with a phone number and an email address. So you can see there's some camp information listed under here. Also corresponds to these tabs, which are some of the links that you saw from those search results. So here, let's start with Scrubs Camp. If you take a look here, you don't see a name specifically listed, but you do see an email that might be useful. So we don't know exactly whose name this is attached to just yet. However, let's see if when we scroll through or click through these links for that specific program, if we see anything. So, oh wait. So when you come to the one that was pay this fee online, it won't always be exactly like this, but go to the links on a site on a program's page, especially if it's at a university, because there's so many people, so many programs at a university that you want to take an opportunity to look at the information they're giving you specific to that program to see if you see anything useful. When you come here, you'll notice this. You will receive additional camp information in May. If you have any questions, please email. And then this isn't a general email they're giving you. This is a specific name, Dina Steinhaus at winona.edu. So then in your data source where you were able to find all these other titles, you would have wanted to go and search for her name in that data source and then see any emails or any phone numbers that came up associated with that. And say, for instance, Dina, who's associated with the Scrubs camp, probably would have been a good one to list. Have her name, Dina Steinhaus. You saw Dina.Steinhaus at winona.edu. Have the secondary email is scrubscamp at winona.edu, and then find any phone numbers that were listed in your data source. But that would have been more so what we were looking for. So it does take time, but again, that's what we're looking for, is someone who's going to be thorough with the website. That was a Scrubs camp. That was an additional page for the Scrubs camp. Uh, exit out of there. This one's just giving general information. Oh wait, if this was for the athletic camps page, like from this result here, but if you notice, now I'm seeing a second email for Ann. So it already showed me A. Durley on that previous page. That was just general for the Southern camps. But when I came here to the athletic camps page, excuse me, this keeps popping up. You see a second email that's camps@winona.edu. So then I would have liked to have seen Ann Durley listed with A. Durley from that other summer camps page as the first email, and then camps@winona.edu as her secondary email. And then you could go through and take a look at these individual camps here and see if you can get any information. Is there anything on the contact us page? No, that's just an email link, coaching staff. Maybe get the head coach's information. Now that's where it's okay to go above and beyond and send us more than 5 contacts. If you're seeing like for a university where they have multiple camps, then maybe go through and get a contact for each one of these. Even if they don't show the contact information in there, find a name, like cross country. We may or may not wind up wanting to use all of these individually. Okay, this one doesn't. Oh wait, actually there is a name listed. So he's the Winona State Warriors head coach. It might not have all of his information on this page. Does it have anything on the John's bio section? No, but you can then take, and let's scroll down first just to see if we see anything. No, nothing here, but you can take that name and run that name in your data source. And every organization, like one that just does camps, we probably won't need 10 contacts from them. But if it's a university that has multiple camps, well, then chances are it can be anywhere from 3 to 5, but it could also be 10 or more. And there's a good example of that I'll show you in just a moment. So let's move on from Winona State and let's actually go over to University of Rochester. Again, this was one where you gave us quite a few titles, but they weren't really what we were looking for. So here's University of Rochester coming over. And on this one, I would definitely imagine you did not visit the websites that I selected or the website I selected because I see that you have some very general titles here. So the systems administrator and project manager, uh, it, that's not someone we'd be looking for. Operations and administrative coordinator, if it was for an organization that was strictly doing camps, that might make sense. But you're going to want to try and find people tied to the actual programs at a university because there's so much staff there and so many different things going on that it can be very easy to get generic titles that aren't going to be useful for us. So if you go to this actual website that I gave you, not just that data source, because that's what we're going to need, not just using the data source, but going to the website, getting information on specifically who we're looking for, and then taking that to your data source and seeing if you can either find additional contact information if someone's listed already, or contact information in general if you saw a name but didn't see an email or a phone number. But if you go here, there are several athletic camps listed. And if you go to the individual page for any one of these athletic camps, you'll actually see that the coach's name, a number, and an email is included. So instead of sending us multiple generic titles from that company, what I would have liked to have seen was, oh, look, you go down, Wendy Andriotta, phone number, email. You don't see a title, but you could possibly say field hockey coach and camp coordinator if you didn't know. But chances are you can take that name, Wendy Andriotta, put it in your data source, and you'll probably find more specific information. But don't just rely on the data source. If you go here to football camps, No specific name on this page. Let's go to the football camps and clinic website. Camp staff. Head coach, Chad Martinovich. I would take this, put that in your data source, see what came back. I wouldn't go all the way down, but at least get for an athletic camp like a head coach's name. If you take a look at almost all the other links, say for instance, for baseball, for volleyball, for tennis, and for basketball. I know because I already did this for all these companies before we sent you this list. Nothing there. The registration link is down because the camp has changed or closed. Here, see. Right here, volleyball, Lady Aya or Lottie Aya, name, phone number, and an email. Tennis coach or tennis camp, name, number, email. Basketball camps and clinics, one for the men's coach, one for the women's coach, name, number, email, name, number, email. So you're going to want to exhaust all those, and then if you're not seeing it directly, actually go to whatever links you're seeing on that program's page to see if you can get more information. So for instance, when we went to the baseball one, didn't see, give this just a second to load. Didn't see a name, number, and email on here listed specifically, but I can go to the baseball camp website and see if anything interesting pops up. Scrolling through. Oh wait, well there's a staff section right here. Joe Reyna, head coach. That would be somebody useful to pop their name into your data source and get information for them. Go to the summer camp's website. Do I see any useful information or email on here? Not right away. Register now. Do I see anything useful on there? No, not immediately. But going to those links from the website I sent you and then going to all the camps, you would have seen most of them have names, emails, and numbers listed. Or when you go to a link on that page, you would see a name that you could put in your data source and find more information on. And then let's scroll down to trips, and I'm almost finished. Oh, wrong one. Here we are. So say for instance, with Grand Parkway Baptist Church, if you go to, whereas you sent us multiple people, there was actually something you were missing. So if you go to the site that I listed specifically on that missions page and scroll through, when you get down, you'll see looking for more. And it says contact Marcy, contact Travis. Now this isn't Marcia who you included, this is someone else. It gives us information on the local missions pastor, Marcy McClendon, and if they have a local and an international, chances are we're looking for international, someone who handles travel. And there it is, the international missions pastor, Travis Dunham. So it would have been great to put this name and that name in your data source and then see what information came back. Now, when you click this here, it just goes to a generic email link that you can send to them. However, that would have been great to use your data source for these names specifically, but I see that you didn't include them, whereas on some of the lists that we got, back did include them. So with that being said, you're going to want to make sure you pay attention to that. One more option and then we're done. You sent a lot of contacts for Second Baptist. However, you actually missed most of the ones I would have wanted to see. So you found some kind of generic titles here. If you go to the link that I sent, then when you get to the World's Missions page, there it is. Sam Glass, missions pastor, phone number, and email. We would have wanted to have seen that one. And then, like I said, go to links or tabs or just see what you can find on the page. If you, before you even click on these, they flip over and you see that that is Kyle Parrish. You probably can't see it on the loom, but this is an email address. This is an email address. This is an email address, and that's an email. Those are both email addresses. So you could take that name and email, put that in your data source, and then see if you can find any additional emails and definitely find any phone numbers associated with these people specifically. And if you're not seeing a title or anything, well, you know this is the missions page. This is the Columbia missions. So you could put Columbia mission leader and that would work for us. But we would want to see more contact information on these people. Well, thank you very much for taking your time to take a look at this and for your work. If we see an improvement on that next one, then there's a chance that we may want to work with you long term. But we're going to have to see more specific titles, or rather titles more specific to the programs that we're searching for, and also see names from the website. Good luck with your next project, and we will be in touch with you soon. Bye bye.